In 2045, Earth's climate has drastically changed due to climate modification towers designed to combat global warming. However, these towers inadvertently triggered a new ice age, plunging the world into a frozen wasteland. The remnants of humanity have retreated to underground bunkers, known as colonies, to escape the extreme cold. Colony 7, led by Briggs, Lawrence Fishburne, and Mason, Bill Paxton, is one such refuge where the survivors struggle with disease, food scarcity, and the constant threat of extinction. Life in Colony 7 is harsh. The colony's residents are plagued by the bitter cold and the ever-present danger of disease. Strict quarantine measures are enforced to prevent the spread of illness, and food production is a daily challenge. The bunker's leaders, Briggs and Mason, are often at odds over how to manage these crises. Briggs, a rational and empathetic leader, clashes with Mason, whose survivalist mentality pushes him to make ruthless decisions to protect the colony. One day, Colony 7 receives a distress signal from Colony 5, a nearby bunker. The message is brief and ominous, hinting at something terrible that has befallen the neighboring colony. Briggs decides to investigate, hoping to offer assistance, or at least learn what happened. He assembles a small team, including Sam, Kevin Zegers, a skilled engineer, and Graydon, Atticus Dean Mitchell, a brave but inexperienced young man. They prepare for the treacherous journey across the frozen wasteland. Before departing, Briggs places Sam's lover, Kai, Charlotte Sullivan, in charge of Colony 7. Mason, who disapproves of leaving the colony in Kai's hands, voices his concerns but is overruled. Briggs, Sam, and Graydon set out, trudging through the snow and ice towards Colony 5. The journey is perilous, with the group facing blistering winds and the constant threat of the ice collapsing beneath their feet. Yet, they press on, determined to uncover the truth. Upon reaching Colony 5, the team is met with a horrifying sight. The once thriving bunker is now a scene of chaos and destruction, with blood staining the walls and floors. The eerie silence is punctuated only by the sound of dripping water and the occasional creak of the structure. As they cautiously explore the desolate colony, they find no signs of life, only a growing sense of dread. The fate of Colony 5's residents remains a mystery, but the team fears the worst. As they venture deeper into Colony 5, they come across a locked door. Sam, using his engineering skills, manages to pick the lock, allowing them to enter. Inside, they find Leland, a survivor who has barricaded himself in the room. Leland is paranoid and traumatized, but he reveals that Colony 5 received a message from another group of people who had managed to fix a weather machine, causing the snow to thaw. However, this discovery led to unforeseen consequences. Leland explains that after receiving the transmission, a group from Colony 5 set out to find the source of the signal, hoping to escape the endless winter. Unfortunately, their journey attracted a marauding band of cannibals, who followed their tracks back to Colony 5. The cannibals descended upon the colony, slaughtering its inhabitants in a gruesome massacre. Leland, now the sole survivor, has been hiding ever since, too terrified to leave his makeshift fortress. Briggs, Sam, and Graydon try to convince Leland to return with them to Colony 7, but he refuses, choosing instead to lock himself back in his room. With no other options, the trio continues to explore Colony 5, searching for any remaining survivors. Their search leads them to a room where a fire burns ominously. Inside, they are horrified to find a human figure chopping up the bodies of Colony 5's residents, while others feast on the remains. The nightmare they feared has become reality. The sight of cannibalism sends a wave of terror through the group. As they try to retreat, the cannibals notice them and give chase. In the ensuing chaos, Graydon is caught and brutally killed by the cannibals. Briggs and Sam manage to escape, fleeing up a ladder that leads out of the colony. Desperate to prevent the cannibals from following, Briggs uses a stick of dynamite to collapse the shaft behind them, entombing the cannibals within Colony 5. Or so they hope. Exhausted and traumatized, Briggs and Sam take refuge in an abandoned helicopter, using it as a makeshift shelter for the night. However, their respite is short-lived. When they awaken the next morning, they discover that the cannibals have somehow escaped from Colony 5 and are tracking their footprints in the snow. Realizing the relentless nature of their pursuers, Briggs devises a plan to lead the cannibals to a decrepit bridge, intending to destroy it with dynamite and cut off their advance. As the cannibals close in, Briggs and Sam execute their plan, luring the cannibals onto the bridge. However, the fuse on the dynamite goes out before it can ignite. In a heroic act of self-sacrifice, Briggs rushes back to relight the fuse, knowing full well the danger he faces. He is attacked by the cannibals but manages to relight the fuse just in time. The explosion destroys the bridge, killing Briggs and several cannibals, but buying Sam the time he needs to escape. Meanwhile, back at Colony 7, tension between Kai and Mason reaches a boiling point. Mason, driven by his fear of disease and paranoia, intends to kill a colonist without testing her for illness first. Kai confronts him, leading to a heated argument. The situation escalates when Kai spots Sam returning to the colony, exhausted and alone. She runs to him, but Mason, intent on maintaining control, knocks her out before she can warn the others of the impending danger. When Sam regains consciousness, he finds that Mason has taken over Colony 7 and is planning to enforce harsh, draconian measures. Sam tries to warn Mason and the others about the cannibals and the thawed-out area he discovered, but Mason dismisses his claims as the delusions of a man unhinged by his ordeal. Determined to stop Mason, Sam frees himself from his restraints and begins to search for evidence to support his story, knowing time is running out. Sam accesses Colony 7's remaining technology, including a functioning satellite, to locate the thawed-out zone mentioned in the transmission. He is successful in pinpointing its location, giving him renewed hope for a possible escape. However, before he can share this information, the cannibals arrive at Colony 7, having tracked Sam's footprints all the way back. The colony is thrown into chaos as the cannibals launch a brutal assault, slaughtering anyone in their path. The inhabitants of Colony 7 scramble to defend themselves, but the ferocity of the cannibals takes them by surprise. Sam's friend Victor, John Tench, is among the many who fall victim to the attack. The survivors, overwhelmed and outnumbered, retreat to a secure room, locking themselves inside. Sam and Kai, desperately seeking refuge, bang on the door, pleading to be let in. However, Mason, still in control, refuses to open the door, determined to save himself at any cost. Nara, Lisa Berry, Briggs' daughter, cannot stand by and watch Sam and Kai be left to die. She confronts Mason, knocking him down and taking control of the situation. She opens the door, allowing Sam and Kai to join the remaining survivors inside the secure room. Sam, realizing that they cannot stay trapped indefinitely, devises a plan to escape through the ventilation system. The group works quickly to open a vent, knowing that the cannibals are relentless and will soon break through. Mason, wounded and realizing the severity of the situation, chooses to stay behind. He knows that he is too injured to escape through the vents, and he is unwilling to risk the lives of others. When the cannibals finally break through the door, Mason makes a final stand. He fires at a propane container, causing a massive explosion that kills most of the cannibals, including himself. The blast gives the remaining survivors the time they need to escape through the ventilation system. The survivors, led by Sam, crawl through the narrow vents, their hearts pounding as they hear the cannibals pursuing them. The sound of the explosion echoes behind them, but they know that not all of the cannibals were killed. Among the survivors is the cannibals' leader, who continues to hunt them down with a terrifying determination. Sam, Kai, Nara, and the others emerge from the vents, exhausted but alive, only to find themselves face to face with their relentless pursuer. The final confrontation is brutal and intense. The cannibals' leader attacks Sam with a ferocity born of desperation. Sam, driven by a desire to protect the last of his people, fights back with everything he has. The two engage in a vicious struggle, with Sam ultimately gaining the upper hand. In a final, desperate move, Sam kills the cannibal leader, ending the immediate threat to the survivors. The battle is over, but the cost has been high, and the survivors are left to mourn their losses. With the immediate danger behind them, Sam and the remaining survivors take stock of their situation. The colony is in ruins, and many of their friends and loved ones are dead. However, the knowledge of the thawed-out zone offers a glimmer of hope.